Hello, YouTube watcher. Welcome to mini trip on Megatrip. As promised, from the beautiful island of Cyprus. Quite a bit's actually happened since you last saw me, and I'm afraid a few things delayed this video coming out. So we had a big thunderstorm, something like you'll see out of Ghostbusters 2. I had a haircut, obviously, and we also had a few family parties, which have degraded my voice a little bit and really delayed me getting something together for you. But it's an absolute pleasure for you to join me in this wonderful Cypriot village of Dreamu. I'm going to give you a little look around. I think a lot of tourists come to Cyprus, they see the big cities, they see the beaches, they see Paphos, they see Latchi. But what they don't see is the traditional, typical Cypriot village life. So today I'm going to take you on a little walk through the village and show you what it's really like in the heart of Cyprus. Much of village life in Cyprus happens in the mountains or the foothills of the Troodos Mountains. These are the less developed areas, I guess, around the coast, but really give you a good idea of what old life in Cyprus was like, and actually what a lot of kind of traditional life in Cyprus is like. And the good thing about being in the mountains is hopefully you can see from many of the villages you get stunning views like the one behind me. We'll go and explore a little bit more. Historically, the villages in Cyprus, inland, would have been the very heart of the community, the production for farming, etc. But as Cyprus has modernised as an island, more and more of the population have actually moved down to the coast or around the coastal areas. And this means that now that a lot of Cypriots just maintain their family homes in the mountains. They come here when it gets too hot in the summer, or for holidays, or special events, or things like Easter, or Orthodox Easter. And I'll talk a little bit more about the religion in Cyprus in a minute. But as I've walked through the village this morning, I've just noticed over here a Cypriot flag, and you may not quite be able to see it as it's not too windy. But on the top of this building there flies a Cypriot flag. And the Cypriot flag is a white background with a gold representation of the map of the island of Cyprus. And interestingly, Cyprus was actually the very first country to put a map of itself on their flag. There's worse views for a morning. This is absolutely part of modernisation in Cyprus. We've now got the bin lorry coming through. Been stuck here for some time behind a local. But I'm sure they'll get moving soon. So let's try and get past them and get down into the rest of the village. See what's going on. And you can see here a mixture of beautiful old buildings, some modernisation, and that really also talks to the population of Cypriot villages today. Like I said, some of the homes are just holiday homes, some of the homes are fully residential. You're now also starting to get a smattering of expats across the island that really does make for an exciting mix. Cyprus is actually one of the oldest civilizations, certainly pre-Byzantine, and in fact another little tidbit or interesting fact about Cyprus for those of you who are into your wine is that the oldest wine ever found or ever recorded was actually made here on the island of Cyprus. And there are lots of vineyards, lots of grape growers, lots of local wineries, and it's a great thing to do if you're visiting, particularly if you're visiting up into the mountains. Get yourself a designated driver but you can tour around the local wineries. They'll welcome you in, they'll give you free samples, and I promise you'll have one of the best days of your lives. A feature of almost every Cypriot village is, perhaps unsurprisingly, a church. Although this country, or the Republic of Cyprus, is on a map, if you look at it, very close to the Middle East, it is very much a Christian country, but they are Orthodox Christian, not Protestant or Catholic as we would understand. I'll just show you now the church here in the village of Dreamy. And here we can see the beautiful old architecture of this fantastic local church in the foothills of the Troodos Mountains. Notable features that you'll see on almost all of these churches are the big bell at the top, and that will be for ringing out for celebrations, for weddings, for christenings, and for calling people to church. And very likely the next time that rings, or next time that rings seriously, will be for Easter, for Orthodox Easter. I think when I'm putting this video out, the kind of Catholic or Protestant Easter will have already happened that we're used to. But the Orthodox Easter is a little bit later, similar to what they have in Russia. So that will be one of the biggest celebrations of the year. The whole village will join, and they'll start here at the church for a service, and they'll go down to a dedicated area for a feast later. There'll be bonfires, there'll be kleftiko, which is a local dish of lamb meat or beef meat cooked in a clay oven overnight, or at least for the whole day, so it's absolutely falling off the bone. And it's one of the most fantastic traditions here in Cyprus, or what's certainly one of the best dishes. It tends to be a communal dish, big hunks of meat, big hunks of potato. Everyone can join in and eat together. But one of the other traditions in Cyprus, and you may have seen this in the background as I've been walking around, is olive production, and growing olives and olive oil is kind of crucial to the diet here on the island of Cyprus, particularly in the Republic of Cyprus. And you can see here next to the church, as we keep walking around, that they have a preserved oil press. There's two types of press here, and we'll go up and have a little look at these guys now. And these won't have changed for hundreds or even thousands of years. Obviously the plastic chair is a relatively new addition. So you'll have the initial press here, often powered by a donkey, and what will happen is the donkey will tow, oh look, a lizard, there you go, part of the fauna of the wonderful island of Cyprus. But anyway, as I was saying, this is an old oil press, and this will be towed round in a circle by a donkey, and these two wheels will rotate and crush the olives down, and that will get your first press of the extra virgin olive oil coming out of the little spout, just like this. Now obviously the base here has been replaced with concrete, and this is a really good example, but you'll see these all over the island in various states of disrepair, made, hewn from stone, some of them literally from thousands of years ago. And once you have kind of the mash created by the olives left in there, you then move on to the second press, which is a machine like this. And you'll note this looks very much like a cider press that you might find in the orchards of Suffolk or Herefordshire back in the UK. And again, they'll press that mash down and get the normal olive oil, so not the extra virgin. That'll be the next press, the second pressing. I talked earlier about the Cypriot flag, and you can see a little better, slightly better example here. Again, quite furled, so it isn't too much in the way of wind. But also you'll note to have some other flags, such as the Greek flags, the Greek flag here. The Republic of Cyprus, the southern part of the island, very much considers themselves part of that Grecian culture. And there's another flag over here which I don't actually recognise. But the other flag that you'll also see a lot of the time is the European Union flag, the EU flag. The Republic of Cyprus is a very proud member of the EU. They consider themselves a modern society, and in reality, they absolutely are. Anyway, I'm going to keep walking around and we'll show you a bit more what the wonderful villages in the heart of Cyprus can offer you if you were to visit. Oranges, oranges everywhere. Lemons, other citrus fruit. you can see this beautiful little orchard here. Right now it's April, and April is the time of year, it's the time of year when that citrus fruit is becoming ripe. Citrus fruits tend to be a winter fruit, so they ripen up over the winter, and this time of year they're really coming to fruition. But the trees here, they work on a regular cycle, and what you're also getting is this amazing rich orange blossom. And I really wish you could smell what I can smell here. All over the island, the orange trees are blossoming. There's a rich, heady aroma in the air, and you can see almost everywhere you go, there'll be a variety of orchards with orange trees, fruit trees, and of course, the ubiquitous olive trees and orchards you can see here leading down into the valley. Any Cypriot will tell you that Cyprus is a modern republic, and the variety of businesses here, and there are from marketing to tech, banking, it's massive, or has been pretty significantly big considering the size of the country here in Cyprus. And Cyprus has some of the most stringent protections on the privacy of those using its banking system. Completely unrelated, over the last 20 years or so there's been an influx of Russian money into the ecosystem. But Cyprus is historically, and is still to some extent today, an agricultural place. And part of that agriculture is the raising of sheep. And we haven't seen any yet today, but there certainly will be some knocking around. So if you do go wandering around the beautiful villages of Cyprus, you'll see a lot of things like this. Obviously with religious motifs. Speaking of the Orthodox religion here in Cyprus. But these are watering troughs for the livestock. And particularly during the summer, when the animals have to get a lot of water, you will see herds of sheep being shepherded still around the roads of Cyprus. Often these drinking troughs are placed near traditional natural sources of water, and you can see here a beautiful little stream running down from the mountains. But obviously in the summer those will dry up, and these modern or more modern drinking troughs will be used. I say more modern, some of them are indeed ancient, hundreds of years old, built by some of those civilizations that we've talked about in the past being here. The Byzantines, the Romans have all been here, followed of course by the Brits in later years, and many, many others over the decades and millennia. Well, will you look at this? Look what I've just found on my walk around the village. A beautiful, beautiful cow. Hello, Mr. Cow. Oh, don't be scared. Don't be scared. Hello, Mr. Cow. Hello. As you can see, this is absolutely typical. Villagers will still keep their own small holdings. Olives, fruit, livestock, such as this beautiful cow here. So, dear YouTube watcher, I have now hiked up round to the other side of the village. You can see I'm a little bit hot and sweaty as the temperature's started to come up here today. It'll get to 26, 27, 28, if not a little bit higher. It was once said that Mark Antony gifted the island of Cyprus to Cleopatra, and it is not hard to see why. Beautiful views like this, running down the valley, from the mountains, down to the sea. And that's where I'll leave you today. Dear YouTube watcher, consumer of video content on the internet, friend, thank you so much for joining me on this special surprise mini trip on Megatrip. But before we get into that, and before we start to show today's video, I really want to take a minute to say thank you. Thank you all of you for watching. Now, I know a lot of you are watching our videos or watching my videos and enjoying them, but I'd like to ask you a favour. One thing that could really help me, really help the channel, is if you take a minute to just like and subscribe. Like just shows that you've enjoyed the video and the content, and subscribe means you'll get a notification next time I upload something, so you won't miss anything. So like is the little thumbs up icon, subscribe is the little bell, and before we go on today's special nautical mini trip on Megatrip, I'm just going to give you a minute to tick the thumbs up and the little bell below. I hope you enjoy today's mini trip on Megatrip. So, as promised, a very special mini trip, a surprise mini trip on Megatrip today, a nautical mini trip. And we are starting in Latchi. Latchi is a harbour near Paphos on the northwest coast of Cyprus. And we're going to go have a little look around the harbour, and then we might go on a very special boat trip. As we have a look round, we check out the most relaxed of Cypriot dogs. So Latchi really is worth a visit, and I'll give you a bit more of a tour of some of the boats around here in a second. But one of the best things to do down here is to come and go on a boat tour. And that's what we're going to do today. So we're going to go along the coast, alongside the Akamai Peninsula, and we are going to see a few great things. We're going to see the Baths of Aphrodite, and then more importantly, we're going to have a chance to go swimming in the famous Blue Lagoon. So, bet you wish you were here. Come and join me on today's boat trip on Megatrip. So behind me, you've now got a view of Latchi Harbour, perhaps a little bit better. Historically, it's very much a local fishing harbour, but now it's a mix of fishing, tourist boats, and even some mega yachts for the super rich. So if you come down here, you never know who you're going to see. Maybe someone whose name ends in ski, maybe a celebrity, or maybe just some holiday makers enjoying the sun. So we're heading out now to the Blue Lagoon on the Cooler, probably one of the oldest boats in the fleet, certainly in the tourist fleet here. And one of the great things about the journey is as we go, we may be lucky enough to see at the bow of the boat things like flying fish, dolphins, and lots of other marine life, turtles, etc. And for those of you not on a budget, this is the famous NASA hotel on the coast at the base of the Yakima Peninsula. Luxury 5-star hotel where you can find everything your heart desires, fine foods to water sports. Been there a couple of times. It's definitely fancy. Of course, no Cypriot boat trip is right without a nice Cypriot lunch. And on this particular boat, that's going to be souvla. Souvla are the local kebabs, cooked on turning spits on barbecue grills. What's different about this boat is those grills are actually on the very back of the boat itself. See those here? These will be spun out, hung over the water. We're in the Blue Lagoon. The souvla will be cooked as we enjoy the beautiful views swimming in the wonderful Mediterranean. You can see the view from the back of the boat here, all the way up into the Troodos Mountains where we saw the beautiful village of Dreamu a few days ago. On the beautiful Kula, there's lots to see along the coast of the famous Yakima Peninsula, including things like this, the Baths of Aphrodite Beach, named after Aphrodite, who was, according to Greek legend, born here on Cyprus. And if you go up the hills from this island that sits across from the beach, you'll actually find the little pool with a fig tree above it, which reportedly is where Aphrodite used to take her daily baths. And it's where she reportedly met her famous lover Adonis, who was out hunting one day and came across her bathing in the Baths of Aphrodite pool. All part of the beauty and history of the island of Cyprus as we go up to the Blue Lagoon on the wonderful Kula. Cyprus has the cleanest beaches in Europe, and that's one of the things that makes boat trips like this so good. And you see a lot of the boats, as I mentioned, go to the Blue Lagoon, and that's where we're about to pull into now. It's pretty easy to see why. You can see the beautiful, calm, turquoise Mediterranean waters, and that's exactly what we're going to do now. We're going to pull up in the Kula, the boat we're on, jump off the boat, have a little swim, and then we'll get the barbecue going for some of that souvla that we talked about earlier. Absolute paradise on earth under the shadow of the Yakima Mountains. course, no boat trip is complete without a nice little bar list.
I was awake at 5.
Here at the end of the boat, you can see the traditional seawater cooking.
Hello.
Thank you so much. So let's give this Suva a little go. Absolutely delicious. What more could you want for food cooked on the back of a boat? Can you get a little beer? The wonderful view. Perfection. So far in this mini trip series, I've been showing you around the island of Cyprus. I've mainly been showing you, I guess, kind of less trodden paths on the west and the northwest coast, or western lowlands or western foothills of the Troodos Mountains, all the way down to the coast. But if you come out to this bit of Cyprus, you'll probably fly into Paphos Airport. Paphos is a slightly different place. The main industry in Paphos these days is very much tourism. So it's slightly more built up, and it's actually where lots of tourists will come on their holidays. And you know what? It's a great place. I'm not doing it down. I like the less trodden areas myself, but Paphos, I've got a real soft spot for. I think I mentioned that Cyprus is actually my family home, or it feels like my family home. We've been coming here for the best part of 30 years, had a house here for almost 30 years. And I guess since that time, Paphos has changed massively. It's been developed, but in a really, really nice way. Like I said, it's somewhere I've got a real soft spot for. So today we're going to spend some time looking around Paphos, and looking at what you could expect if you came here on your own, with friends, or with family. But there's certainly lots to see. So, anyway, join me from Paphos. In this particular video, I'm going to stick in Kato Paphos, the old bit of Paphos, closer to the airport. And I'm going to show, I guess, what you can expect if you came for something like a long weekend, starting with the hotel. So this is where we're staying, the Leptos Basilica Holiday Resort. Let's go and see what I think about €53 a night gets you down in the main area of Paphos. Okay, Mega Trippers, so as I said, a few things went wrong on this video, and this is the first of them. It's where the audio recording decided not to work. But let's not worry too much. Let's go inside the hotel room and have a quick look at what €53 gets you down in Kato Paphos. So just let myself in, struggling with the old electricity to get that going. But you'll see as you go into the room, you get a nice good sized room. This is actually a room for 2 people. I just got it for myself because I was there on my own. Some nice facilities, a little kitchenette, microwave, sink, and of course a nice, pretty clean little bathroom with a shower. Not too bad at all, I don't think, particularly considering the area this is in. As you go into the room, you can see there's 2 single beds, nicely pushed together, so you can treat that as a double if you want. A little sitting area, chest of drawers, whatever you might need. Again, I think really excellent value for right in the middle of Cato Paphos. And I didn't actually expect this. There's also a nice little balcony, seating area with a beautiful view over the ruins that you'll see kind of everywhere mixed in with the modern city down in Cato Paphos. So not too bad. I think we might have just found ourselves a little gem here, the Basilica Gardens Resort in Cato Paphos. Not only did it have a nice clean room with lots of facilities, a lovely little pool area if you don't want to swim in the sea, but it's also right opposite a nice little supermarket, Papantouniou. So if you're on a little bit of a budget and you want to save some money, you can grab your beers, grab yourself something to drink, maybe some snacks for the room, some food to cook your own meals. But I'm actually going to nip in now, grab myself a bottle of water before I show you around some of my top things to do here in Cato Paphos, in Old Paphos. Paphos is an ancient city with a mix of cultures, and here you can see one of the oldest natural features of the city of Paphos, this prayer tree that's at a shrine, adopting other cultures that have come to these shores since the time of the Romans, the Byzantines, the Ottomans, and many more since. People will come to this tree, tie a cloth, tie a handkerchief, and say a prayer for a loved one, juxtaposed against the modern city of Paphos that we see as we walk down to the harbour. Like many coastal towns in the Med, kind of the centre of civilization, the centre of buzziness, the centre where everyone hangs out is down by the harbour, down by the boats. So, as one of my top things to do here in Paphos is to go down, have a walk by the harbour, check out all the beautiful, weird, wonderful boats down by the harbour. So that's exactly what we're going to do right now. Harbours aren't just about boats though. Really, down in Cato Paphos, the harbour, the coastline is very much the centre of life. It's buzzy, it's where the restaurants are, it's where the bars are. One of my top things to do in Paphos is just come down to the harbour and promenade along the harbour wall. Take a walk down this beautiful palm tree lined route down across the bay all the way to the hotels on the other side, and if you feel like it, you could even go down and try some parasailing on one of the speedboats off the public beach down at the far end of the harbour wall here in Cato Paphos. So while I'm walking around on this beautiful, hot, sunny day here in Paphos, I thought it's probably worth me sharing with you a few facts, or I guess a bit of what you should expect here, what's good, why should you come to Paphos. And look, no one's sponsoring me to say this, but it's a city I love in a country I love. Some of the nice things about it are it's very family friendly. The Cypriots are a family oriented people. And what that means is there's plenty for everyone to do. So kids are looked after, they're made happy. That means the adults can get on with their day, they're happy, and everyone can have a lovely time. Also, perhaps what's quite interesting is it's incredibly accessible. And by which I mean wheelchair accessible specifically. The west of the island, Paphos and Polis, the local municipality here have really focused on wheelchair accessibility or mobility scooter accessibility. And if you have mobility issues, it's very easy to hire a mobility scooter at a very fair rate, and you can get pretty much everywhere. Yes, there are some things like the old castle, the old fort, where you can't climb up the stairs, but generally getting around is a breeze. It really is the way that the kind of revolutionised tourist industry here has been designed. And finally, I guess, is safety and security. Like I said, Cyprus is pretty much my family home. Been coming here for, well, pretty much since I can remember, if I'm honest. It is incredibly safe. Virtually no crime. You can leave things on the beach, you can leave things in your hotel room. I know in the 30 years that I've been coming here, had no issues with crime whatsoever. Haven't seen any, haven't reported any, haven't experienced any. So I guess just another reason to jump on a plane from London, if you're there, from say Gatwick Airport, and you can be here in 4.5 hours flying straight into Paphos Airport. So why not give it a go? Joe Biden once described Cyprus as the convergence of civilization, and he wasn't wrong. So next we're going to go look at a little bit of culture, the famous Paphos Castle. You can see it here on the edge of the harbour, originally on the site of a Byzantine castle. I'll give you a bit more information as we get closer. So here it is, the old Paphos Castle, sat on the edge of Paphos Harbour. As Joe Biden said, it's the crossroads of civilization. So this castle was originally built by the Byzantines. It was then destroyed by an earthquake in the 13th century and rebuilt by the Ottoman Empire in the 16th century. So now we're here. Let's go in and have a little look around. So we're in the castle now. I guess we'll start by going up. We're climbing up through this old stone building and up a wooden stairway. You can imagine if you were attacking this castle and you somehow got in, climbing up these stairs against a defending force would be almost impossible. If you climb up to this top of these walls now, we start to get a view of the top of the castle itself and out over the Mediterranean Sea. As I catch my breath a little bit, you can start to see why this place was so important. Sitting here on the edge of this major seaport, you can imagine this intimidating fortress being a mark of defence and ensuring the important trade in the Mediterranean between what is now Turkey, Greece, Lebanon, Egypt, and the other civilizations, all of which were nestled around the eastern Mediterranean throughout the last 2 centuries. If you think about it, for perhaps 1,000 years, this was very much the centre of Western civilization. Now, we get to enjoy it as tourists and look out across the beautiful views. So I found myself a little spot in the shade, really to give you a little bit of practical information. Cyprus is part of the EU, and as such receives some really good funding for historical sites like this. But to get into the castle itself, you do have to pay a little fee, and that goes towards the upkeep and the staffing, and I think it's very reasonable. I actually just wanted to show you the ticket. So you can see the fee for the ticket itself was only €2.50, but on the ticket you can see a picture showing a figurine from the Neolithic settlement of a place I won't try and pronounce, but that's also here in Cyprus, here in Paphos. So it's not just the Byzantines, the Romans, which we'll talk about in a little bit, the Brits, many others, but even from Neolithic times, this very much was the cradle of Western civilization. And a lot of that is due to trading, due to seafaring. That means one of the great things that you can see quite nicely from the top of Paphos Castle is a beautiful lighthouse still in operation today, protecting those seafaring routes as it would have done for many, many years. Right, enough of castles, enough of forts, enough of harbours and boats for now. It's time to get Roman. So like I said, it's time to get Roman as we look at the Nea Paphos archaeological site, a World Heritage Site. I'm going to go and have a little look round inside. I think what's really interesting before you go in here is a map of the site. You can see it's spread out across the peninsula. You can see here a list of what there is. And you can see there's ruins here from the Roman period, the Hellenistic, late Roman periods, but also Byzantine, Frankish, Ottoman, and others. So a wealth of history here in Paphos. Let's check it out. So the purpose of this video is not to give you a comprehensive look around the remains, the ruins, this archaeological site, but more, like I said at the start of the video, to give you an idea of what you could do here in Paphos if you had a few days. So I'm not going to show you around everything, but maybe just take the next few minutes to have a look at the kind of thing you can see here if you visit this archaeological site in Paphos, Cyprus. Well, Megatrippers, that's your lot for the archaeological site here in Paphos, Cyprus. Roman, Hellenic, Byzantine. Get down here, see it for yourself. Enjoy one of the most special archaeological sites of its kind here in Western Cyprus. But now it's time to go and check out my final top thing to do here in Paphos. Come with me, Megatrippers. let's go get a beer. For anyone who likes to travel, I think a big part of it is eating and drinking, and it gets you into the culture, makes you understand the locals, and brings something different to every destination you go to. I've not really talked much about Cypriot food and drink. It really is kind of classic Mediterranean. Simple food, done well. Grilled meat, grilled fish, salad, vegetables, potatoes cooked in olive oil. All that healthy, delicious Mediterranean fare you can expect. That's the food side of things. I talked a little bit about wine in another video. Great local wine here, very affordable. A good option to go and see the wineries yourself and have a great day out. But when it comes to beer, and I have to admit I'm a beer guy, there's two Cypriot beers. One is Leon, and one is Kio. You tend to be either a Leon guy or a Kio guy. And I have to say, I'm a Kio guy. My dad was a Kio guy, my brother's a Kio guy, so I'm a Kio guy. It's absolutely baking out here right now. So I'm going to stop in at a little cafe and get myself a cheeky little Kio.
One second, my dear, for the straw because
Cheers. Now, I couldn't talk about a trip to Paphos and the Paphos harbour area without suggesting you come to Paphos Beach, the municipal beach here down at Paphos. Now, maybe saying it's a beach in the kind of traditional sandy terms is going a little bit too far, but it is a beautiful swimming area with changing rooms, lots of platforms and rocks and ladders that you can climb on, jump off and cool down in the hot summer weather, or in this case in the hot Easter weather. It's not even May yet and it will be reaching almost 30 degrees today. It's a perfect place to chill down, cool off, and enjoy the waters of the Mediterranean. Okay, Megatrip watcher, thank you so much for joining me on this very special Paphos mini trip on Megatrip. I'm now suitably full of Kio, as I'm sure you can probably tell by my slightly jaunty walk. What did you think? Did you enjoy it? Do you think I should have gone for Leon rather than Kio? Have you been to Cyprus and you think there's something I've missed here on the west or northwest coast? If there is, leave me a note in the comments, let me know. I'm also looking for a few more mini trips before I head off on my mega trip. That'll be happening in about 6 weeks, so make sure you subscribe for that. And please do, if you liked what you saw here today, make sure you like this video. And like I said, please subscribe. 64% of you, can you believe that? 64% of you are watching my videos, but you're not actually subscribed. So go ahead, click that subscribe bell, make sure you get more updates from Megatrip. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time on Megatrip.